Chosen one, listen closely. Tomorrow is not just another day circled on the calendar. Tomorrow carries a weight in the spirit, a divine turning point, a marker in eternity written long before you were even born. You've tried to quit before, haven't you? You've tried to silence the calling, to walk away from the fire burning inside you, to convince yourself that maybe this journey wasn't meant for you. And yet every time you found yourself pulled back, drawn into the current of a river you could never escape. Why? Because you are not ordinary. You are not like the others who can turn their back on destiny and keep living as if nothing is missing. You were marked. You were set apart. And what's coming tomorrow will prove why every attempt you made to give up never succeeded. You've cried. You've fought. You've questioned. There were nights when you whispered, "God, why me?" and mornings when you wondered if the pain was proof that you were forsaken. But no, hear me now. The very resistance you faced was proof that you were chosen. Only the ones carrying heaven's assignment attract that level of warfare. Only the ones destined to shift generations feel the weight that you've carried. Tomorrow, something will unfold. For some, it will be seen in the physical, an opportunity, a breakthrough, a conversation that changes the course of everything. For others, it will be a stirring in the unseen, an inner revelation, a sudden peace, a divine confirmation that you've been walking the right path all along. Either way, you will not miss it. Your soul has been prepared, sharpened, refined for this very moment. Think back to the times you almost gave up, the days you almost walked away from relationships, dreams, or even life itself. Those weren't random battles. Those were the fires that tempered you, the storms that proved your roots. And now, just when the enemy thought you were finished, heaven whispers a different story. Tomorrow you rise. Chosen one, don't underestimate this moment. Don't dismiss the tug you feel even now in your spirit as you hear these words. It's not your imagination. It's not wishful thinking. It is divine alignment. The author of your life has already scripted what's about to unfold, and he's reminding you that your inability to quit was never weakness. It was proof that heaven itself was holding you. Stay alert. Keep your heart open, because tomorrow the evidence of your calling will speak louder than every doubt you've ever carried, and you'll finally see why you couldn't quit, even when you tried. And the reason you could never walk away is because the voice that held you was not your own. It wasn't your strength that carried you through the nights of silence. It wasn't sheer willpower that kept you standing when everything inside you screamed to collapse. There has been a greater hand guiding you, a presence that refused to let you slip into the shadows of defeat. You see, destiny doesn't negotiate. When God has stamped his seal on your life, no storm, no betrayal, no temptation can erase it. You are written into his story, and heaven itself is invested in seeing you through. Every moment of resistance you faced has been watched. Every tear counted, every whispered prayer carried into the throne room of eternity. Even when you thought you were forgotten, heaven was speaking your name. And now comes the unveiling. The reason tomorrow holds such weight is because it isn't merely about a date, it's about divine timing, God's timing. That mysterious alignment where unseen pieces click into place, where prayers long delayed collide with their appointed hour. You didn't miss it, no matter how many mistakes you've made, no matter how many detours you've taken. You are still on the path, because the author refuses to abandon his masterpiece. This is why your heart feels restless tonight. This is why, deep down, you know something is shifting. The Spirit is bearing witness within you, whispering that what's ahead has already been prepared. You're not walking into randomness, you're walking into prophecy. What's about to unfold isn't coincidence, it's confirmation. And perhaps you've asked, how can I be sure? How do I know this isn't just another hopeful word? Look at your own history. Every time you thought you were finished, a way opened. Every time you fell, you rose again. Even in the silence, there was always a flicker of light that kept you moving forward. That flicker was not you, it was him. The same one who parted seas, who raised the broken, who speaks worlds into being, has been breathing life into your spirit this whole time. And tomorrow, he intends to prove it. Not to the world at large, not even to your enemies, though they will see, but first and foremost, to you. Because the most powerful revelation is not what others believe about you, but what you finally accept about yourself. That you are kept, you are guided, and you are chosen by design. Feel the weight of this. You are not drifting. You are not forgotten. You are standing at the threshold of something that has been written into the fabric of your existence. The orchestration has been silent, but the movement is about to become undeniable. Heaven is not asking you to create the path. Heaven is simply asking you to trust it. And so, as you lean into tomorrow, let your heart settle into this truth. The same God who refused to let you quit is the one preparing to reveal why. The veil begins to thin now, and what has been hidden in silence is ready to emerge. This is not about vague promises that drift endlessly into tomorrow. This is about the moment where heaven's intention collides with earth's reality. What you have endured was not meaningless. What you have carried was not for nothing. And the proof of that will begin to break open before your eyes. There is a shift in the atmosphere already. You can sense it, even if you can't fully describe it. The air feels charged, the nights feel heavy with anticipation, and your spirit feels like it's leaning forward into something just beyond reach. That's because the prophecy is no longer waiting in the distance, it is pressing against the present, demanding to be born. Tomorrow is a hinge, a doorway, a crossing point, not because the entire journey will be completed in one day, but because something irreversible will begin. It will be as though a key turns in a lock, and suddenly the door that's resisted you for years swings open. Or like the first crack in a dam, where the pressure that has been building unseen suddenly bursts forth, unstoppable, undeniable. And when it does, you'll understand why quitting was never an option, because you were never carrying only your own story. You were carrying the weight of those who will be touched, healed, freed, and awakened through your obedience. You were carrying generations, lineages, entire ripples of transformation that will stretch far beyond your lifetime. To quit would have been to silence more than your own voice. It would have been to silence the very echo of heaven in the earth. This is why the trials were so sharp. This is why the waiting felt endless. You were not preparing for something small. You were being prepared for something that could not be entrusted to just anyone. And now, like a sealed scroll being broken open, the meaning of it all will begin to unfold. For some, the unveiling will come as opportunity, an invitation into rooms you were never supposed to enter by human standards, doors that should have remained closed suddenly swinging wide. For others, it will be revelation, an inner knowing, so powerful it silences every lie, every doubt, every accusation that ever tried to convince you that you were less than what God declared. And for still others, it will be vindication, the moment when those who doubted, mocked, or opposed, you are forced to witness the undeniable evidence that you were kept for such a time as this. But hear this clearly, the prophecy is not about proving yourself to them. It is about proving God's faithfulness to you. Because when you see His hand move in ways you could never manufacture, your faith will ignite in ways that cannot be extinguished. And that is what the enemy has feared most. Not your success, not your name, but your unshakable faith. Picture it, tomorrow dawns, and though the world may look ordinary on the surface, something within you knows everything has changed. You feel lighter, sharper, steadier. You sense a divine hand rearranging circumstances, aligning conversations, drawing the right people, and closing the wrong doors. It may not all be visible in one sweeping moment, but you will feel the pivot in your bones, like the ground itself shifting beneath your feet. And when that shift comes, you will recognize it not as coincidence, not as luck, but as the prophecy you've been carrying, finally breathing its first breath in the open air. The dream that refused to die, the calling that refused to fade, the fire that refused to go out. It was never a burden, it was a seed. And tomorrow, that seed begins to sprout. So do not fear what is coming. Do not second-guess the quiet voice that has been guiding you. Trust the stirring, trust the alignment, trust the signs that are already circling around you. Because what is about to be revealed will confirm beyond any shadow of doubt that you were never walking blindly, you were walking prophetically. Every prophecy carries more than an announcement. It carries a meaning hidden beneath the surface. And what is unfolding for you now is not just about an event or a moment of breakthrough. It is about the shaping of your spirit, the refining of your soul, the alignment of your life with a divine pattern that stretches far beyond what you can see. Think of your journey like a season. Seasons do not arrive overnight. They shift gradually, almost imperceptibly, until suddenly you look around and realize that winter has given way to spring. That is what tomorrow represents. It is the moment when the season becomes undeniable, where what has been gestating quietly inside finally pushes its way into visibility. And the meaning of all your waiting is revealed. It was not delay, it was preparation. The storms you faced were never meant to drown you. They were meant to wash away what could not remain. Every storm carries a dual purpose. It exposes weakness, but it also strengthens roots. Without the wind, the tree would never dig deeper. Without the rain, the soil would never soften enough for growth. And so, every gust of opposition that threatened to break you was, in truth, teaching you how to stand. Every downpour of tears was watering the seed you thought had died. You were not abandoned in the dark nights of the soul. You were being planted. And now, the season of hiddenness gives way to the season of emergence. This is the rhythm of destiny: concealment, refinement, then unveiling. And you, without realizing it, have been moving through each stage in perfect alignment with divine timing. Consider the door as another metaphor. A closed door can feel like rejection, like an unanswered prayer. But a door closed in one season is a door preserved for the right season. Had it opened too early, you would not have been ready. Had you forced it, what waited behind it might have crushed you. But because you endured, because you waited, because you kept pressing even when nothing seemed to move, the door that opens now will not just let you through, it will keep you there, because you are prepared to carry what lies beyond it. And then there is the image of light. Light never negotiates with darkness. It simply arrives, and darkness must scatter. You have carried light within you all along, but it was under the surface, hidden in the cracks, flickering in the midst of opposition. Tomorrow represents the dawn, when the light within you bursts forth in a way that no darkness can deny. And when that light shines, it will not only reveal the path before you, it will reveal who you've become. Stronger, wiser, unshakable. This is what divine timing is, the weaving together of your becoming with your breakthrough. Because God is not interested in simply giving you blessings. He is intent on shaping you into someone who can carry them. It is never just about what you receive. It is about who you are while you receive it. And you, though scarred and tested, have been transformed into a vessel that can bear the weight of glory. The spiritual meaning of this prophecy, then, is that your inability to quit was not weakness. It was divine preservation. You were being kept, not by chance, but by choice. And the reason tomorrow matters is because it reveals the fruit of that preservation. It shows that the hands that held you in the valley are the same hands opening the mountain path before you. So do not look at tomorrow as the end of your struggle. Look at it as the unveiling of its purpose, because every battle you fought has been building towards this point. Every disappointment has been shaping your perspective. Every closed door has been teaching you discernment. Every betrayal has been sharpening your trust in the one who never fails. And now, as the season shifts, the meaning crystallizes. You were never meant to quit, because your very survival was the testimony. It was never just about reaching this moment. It was about who you became along the way. And who you are now is proof that destiny is not a distant dream, but a present reality breaking open before your eyes. When destiny shifts, it doesn't arrive in silence. There are signs, subtle and unmistakable, that begin to mark the path. And if you pay attention, you'll notice that these confirmations are already weaving themselves into your days, whispering that the prophecy is alive and active around you. One of the first signs is a heightened sensitivity in your spirit. Ordinary conversations suddenly feel heavy with meaning. Words spoken casually by others seem to echo louder than they should, carrying hidden messages that pierce your heart. It is as if heaven is underlining truths you cannot afford to miss, drawing your attention to details you once overlooked. Another sign comes in the form of divine interruptions. Have you noticed doors that once seemed sealed suddenly creaking open, or plans that should have fallen apart being sustained without explanation? These interruptions are not accidents. They are God's fingerprints, rearranging the flow of your life so you cannot drift back into what no longer serves you. You may also begin to notice numbers, patterns, or synchronicities that seem to follow you wherever you go, repeating times on clocks, words or symbols appearing in multiple places on the same day. Encounters with people that feel orchestrated, almost too precise to be coincidence. These are not random, they are confirmations, divine breadcrumbs placed along your path to remind you that you are aligned with something greater. Pay attention too to the stirring within your body and mind. There will be moments when your heart feels unexplainably heavy, or when your chest feels full of energy that cannot be contained. At other times, you may wake up in the middle of the night with a sense of urgency, as though your spirit is awake while your body still rests. These are signals that your inner being is already responding to what is unfolding, aligning itself with the destiny breaking open around you. And perhaps one of the most powerful signs is the shift in how others perceive you. People may begin treating you differently without knowing why. Some will be drawn to you with unusual respect, sensing the authority you now carry. Others may grow uncomfortable in your presence, unable to explain why they feel exposed when you're near. Both are confirmations the light within you is rising, and it cannot be hidden. Even in your environment, you may feel signs. The atmosphere around you feels charged. Moments of silence feel pregnant with possibility, and even the smallest decisions seem to carry unusual weight. All of this points to one truth. The prophecy is not waiting to arrive, it is already unfolding, and the signs are heaven's way of making sure you do not miss it. So as you step forward, open your eyes, your ears, and your heart. These confirmations are not there to overwhelm you, they are there to assure you, to remind you that you are not imagining things, and that what you sense is real. And when you see these signs, let them strengthen your faith, because each one is a signal. Tomorrow is not empty, it is divine. But with every sign comes a test. For as much as heaven confirms your path, The unseen realm also stirs in resistance. What is holy attracts opposition. What is destined attracts delay. And before the fullness of your prophecy breaks into view, you may face hidden challenges designed not to destroy you, but to refine you one last time. One challenge will be the temptation of doubt. Even as confirmations surround you, there will be moments when your mind whispers, "What if I'm imagining this? What if nothing changes?" This is not failure. It is the final attempt of the enemy to make you abandon what is already yours. Doubt will knock at your door, but you do not have to invite it in. Another challenge will be distraction. Opportunities that look good, but are not aligned with your calling, will suddenly appear. Voices will rise around you, urging you to take shortcuts, to compromise, to settle for something less than what you've been promised. These distractions may even come wrapped in kindness, through people who mean well, but cannot see the fullness of your destiny. The challenge will be discernment, to choose the narrow road when the wider path seems easier. You may also encounter a test of patience. Breakthrough does not always arrive in one dramatic flash. Sometimes it unfolds in waves, one piece at a time. The temptation will be to grow restless, to believe that because the entire picture has not appeared, nothing is happening. But remember, seeds sprout underground long before they break the surface. Trust that unseen progress is still progress. Another hidden challenge will be opposition from unexpected places. Those who once supported you may begin to distance themselves. Friends may grow silent, family may fail to understand, and people you thought were allies may reveal jealousy or fear. Do not take this as a sign you're losing favor. It is proof that your light exposes what others have not yet faced in themselves. And sometimes, God allows separation to protect what He is birthing in you. And then there is the challenge within yourself. Old wounds, old fears, old habits may resurface, as if to test whether you've truly been transformed. Memories of failure may replay. Feelings of unworthiness may rise. This is the refining fire, the last echo of your former self being burned away, so that you can step into tomorrow free of its weight. Do not mistake these challenges for punishment. They are not evidence of abandonment. They are proof that heaven trusts you enough to test you, knowing you will emerge stronger, sharper, and more certain. For gold must pass through fire, and diamonds are only revealed under pressure. So when the hidden challenges rise, face them with courage. See them not as barriers but as bridges, because once you cross them, nothing will remain to stop the fulfillment of what has been promised. Now that you understand the weight of the prophecy and the hidden challenges that may rise, it is time to speak of what you must do. For prophecy is not passive, it calls for participation. You cannot simply stand by and wait. You are invited to align, to prepare, to step into rhythm with heaven's intention. The first instruction is simple but powerful. Guard your focus. Distraction will be the enemy's most subtle weapon, and so you must learn to narrow your gaze. Not every voice deserves your attention. Not every opportunity deserves your yes. Ask yourself before every decision, does this lead me closer to what God has shown me, or does it pull me away? If it leads you away, even slightly, let it go. This season requires precision. The second instruction: steward your atmosphere. What you allow into your mind and spirit will either strengthen or weaken you. Fill your space with prayer, with worship, with words that feed your faith. Silence the noise of negativity, whether it comes from within or from others. Even the smallest seeds planted in your heart will grow, so make sure you are planting truth, not lies. The third instruction: walk in expectancy. Expectancy is not wishful thinking, it is the alignment of your spirit with what has been promised. Begin to act as if the shift has already begun. Speak with authority. Move with confidence. Thank God in advance, not because you see it yet, but because you trust His timing. Expectancy unlocks doors because it proves that your faith is alive. The fourth instruction: be willing to release. For as much as tomorrow brings new beginnings, it also requires endings. There may be relationships, habits, or environments that cannot travel with you into this next season. Do not cling to what heaven is removing. Release willingly, even if it hurts, because what you are letting go of is nothing compared to what you are about to gain. The fifth instruction: strengthen your prayer life, not with empty repetition, but with raw honesty. Pour out your doubts, your fears, your hopes, your gratitude. Speak to God as if He is closer than your breath, because He-island prayer will not only shift circumstances, it will shift you, aligning your heart with His voice. And in this alignment, you will find the strength to endure, the wisdom to discern, and the courage to act. The sixth instruction: remain humble. Elevation can be dangerous if pride slips in. Remember, what is unfolding is not proof of your power, but of God's faithfulness. Carry your breakthrough with gentleness. Use your influence not to boast, but to bless. Let your testimony be a light that points others back to the one who sustained you. Humility will preserve what pride could destroy. And finally, the seventh instruction: stay ready. Tomorrow is not the end of your preparation, it is the beginning of your release. Opportunities may appear suddenly, conversations may open without warning. You must be ready to respond, not with hesitation, but with confidence that you have been prepared for this very moment. Stay ready in your spirit, in your mind, in your body. Keep your lamp filled with oil, because the hour is closer than you think. These instructions are not burdens, they are weapons. They are shields against the lies of the enemy and keys to unlock what has been promised. If you carry them with you, no distraction, no delay, no opposition will be able to shake what God has established. So hold them close, guard them like treasure, and as you walk forward, let every step be an act of obedience, an act of trust, an act of alignment with the one who never fails. Because when instruction is followed, prophecy does not remain a whisper, it becomes reality. Even with instructions laid before you, a question lingers quietly in your heart. Will I be safe in this? Will I be covered as I step into the unknown? And the answer is yes, more than you realize. You are not stepping forward uncovered or unguarded. A shield has been around you from the beginning, and it will not vanish now, not when you are closer than ever to fulfillment. Consider how many times you should have fallen, how many traps you walked near, how many arrows were aimed at you unseen, yet here you stand. That alone is evidence that divine protection has always been your portion. You were preserved in moments you didn't even know you were in danger. You were hidden when exposure would have destroyed you. You were delayed when moving ahead too quickly would have crushed you. What you called setbacks were in truth safeguards. And as tomorrow dawns, that same protection will not only continue but intensify. You will feel it like a covering over your mind, a peace that quiets anxious thoughts before they can spiral. You will sense it like a hedge around your path, doors closing not to harm you but to redirect you. You will know it like a fortress around your heart, reminding you that no weapon formed against you can prosper, no tongue raised against you can define you. This protection is not passive, it is active, living, and vigilant. Angels are stationed on your behalf, guiding steps you cannot see, warring against forces you cannot fight in your own strength. And the spirit within you rises as both comforter and defender, giving you discernment to recognize danger before it arrives, and courage to walk forward without fear. At times, The covering may feel like isolation, as though people are leaving you or doors are shutting unexpectedly. But don't mistake this for abandonment. Isolation in this season is insulation, a wrapping of grace designed to keep you intact until the moment of release. The silence, the hiddenness, the solitude, it is not emptiness, it is safety. So rest in this assurance. You are not walking into tomorrow alone. You are surrounded, shielded, and secured by a presence greater than any threat against you. Every plan of harm has already been intercepted. Every snare has already been exposed. Every scheme has already been dismantled before it reached you. Let your heart breathe in that peace. Let your mind settle into that truth. You do not need to brace for disaster. You need only to walk with trust. Because if God has kept you this long, He will not release you now. The covering remains, the shield endures, the protection is certain. And tomorrow, as you step forward, you will see with fresh eyes that you are not only walking into prophecy, you are walking under promise. What happens when the prophecy is no longer a distant word but a living reality? Transformation. Not the kind that tweaks a few details or softens a few edges, but the kind that redefines everything about who you are and how you move in the world. This is what tomorrow unlocks, the beginning of a fulfillment that does not just touch circumstances, but reshapes identity. You will notice it first within yourself. The heaviness you once carried will feel lighter. The questions that plagued you will lose their power. That gnawing uncertainty about whether you were truly meant for this will dissolve in the face of undeniable evidence. The very ground beneath your feet will feel steadier, not because it changed, but because you finally see it for what it is, sacred territory prepared for you. Your voice will carry a different weight. Where once you spoke with hesitation, you will now speak with authority. Where once you walked with doubt, you will now walk with conviction. It is not arrogance, it is alignment. When heaven confirms your steps, you no longer need to shrink. You no longer need to apologize for being called. The transformation is visible in your confidence, your clarity, your courage. And the fulfillment? It will ripple outward, touching more than just your own life. Relationships will shift. Some will deepen, rooted in truth and trust. Others will fade, unable to withstand the brightness of your light. Opportunities will align. Doors will open not by manipulation, but by divine orchestration. Even your enemies will be forced to acknowledge that something greater is at work in you. Picture the moment, a long drought breaking with the first rainfall. The soil drinks deeply, and suddenly everything that lay dormant springs to life. That is what tomorrow will feel like. The seeds you thought were forgotten, the prayers you thought were unanswered, the dreams you thought were buried, they will begin to stir, to sprout, to show signs of life. Not all at once, but undeniably, irresistibly. And as it unfolds, gratitude will swell within you. Gratitude not only for the blessing, but for the journey that shaped you. You will look back on nights of sorrow and see how they carved strength into your soul. You will look at seasons of silence and realize they tuned your ear to heaven's voice. You will recognize that nothing was wasted and everything was preparing you for this very hour. This is the fulfillment, not only that promises come to pass, but that you are transformed in the process. And that transformation will shine through you, becoming a light for others who are still waiting, still fighting, still doubting. Your story will no longer be just your own. It will be a testimony, a living proof that God keeps His word. So lift your head, stand tall, walk forward with expectation. The transformation has already begun, and the fulfillment is unfolding even now. Tomorrow is not the finish line, it is the starting line of a new chapter, one that reveals just how faithful God has been all along. So here you stand on the edge of tomorrow, no longer the same person who once questioned whether you could make it. You've endured the storms, you've embraced the refining, and now you step into the unveiling of what has always been written for you. And as you go forward, let these words anchor your spirit. Repeat them quietly, let them settle in your heart, and speak them aloud until they become the rhythm of your being. I am held by a promise greater than my fear. Zai. I cannot quit, because heaven will not release me. What is written for me cannot be erased. Tomorrow holds proof of God's faithfulness in my life. Let these affirmations be more than phrases. Let them be the sword in your hand when doubt rises, the shield around your heart when fear whispers, the flame that keeps you walking when the night feels long. They are not just words, they are declarations of truth, binding your spirit to the destiny already unfolding. And now, receive this blessing. May your steps be steady, guided not by fear but by faith. May your heart be calm, anchored in the certainty that you are surrounded and protected. May your eyes be open to the signs that confirm your path, and may your ears be tuned to the whisper of God that has never left you. May tomorrow reveal what your spirit has long carried, that you are chosen, preserved, and destined for more than you imagined. May every hidden seed begin to sprout, every locked door swing open, every unseen battle end in victory, and may peace settle over you like a mantle, reminding you that you are never alone, never forsaken, never forgotten. Walk forward now with confidence. What once felt delayed is arriving. What once felt impossible is beginning. What once felt out of reach is drawing near. And as you step into tomorrow, may you see with your own eyes what heaven has always known. You could not quit because you were never meant to. This is your time. This is your season, and nothing will stop what has already begun.